Alright, what is up? This is SLOplays, and I am back at it again with another Dragon Ball Sparking Zero speculation and just a discussion video, okay? More of just a basic discussion. I'm not saying that this is going to happen in the game, or I'm not even denying it, or like, you know, confirming, yeah, CACs are not going to happen. But let's talk about CACs, okay? AKA custom characters, AKA your avatar, okay? Creating your own character in a Dragon Ball game is always a cool and fun concept and idea. You know, you got to execute it and do it right though, right? Okay, so let's talk about this because I did a video about this back when Budokai Tenkaichi 4 had its first initial reveal. We didn't know it was called Sparking Zero, and I kind of touched upon this, and I believe I did say in that video that it's very unlikely that custom characters are going to occur or even be implemented into this game, okay? And why do I say that? Why am I being such a pessimistic person? Like, oh, you don't want CACs in this game? That's not what I'm saying, okay? I would absolutely love custom characters in a game like Sparking Zero, okay? But it just doesn't fit this type of game, okay? And I know Xenoverse 2 has been kind of that replacement arena fighter, and it has custom characters and all that, but that's not what the devs are going for, okay? And the devs, okay, Spike Chunsoft, they're not foreign to this idea of custom characters. They've had 2 games that have had a CAC system, okay? The most notable being Jump Force, okay? They developed Jump Force and they added a CAC system. Y'all saw how that turned out, right? Now, the CAC system was actually pretty good, all right? It wasn't anything like Code Vein or like, you know, I don't even know some. There's a lot of really more, you know, expansive customization for these other games, right? Okay, when it comes to anime games, usually not that amazing, okay? However, they did have a good system going, and I think this really did hurt the game, okay? Even though it was a cool idea and concept and we liked it and, you know, we had fun with it for a little bit, it definitely hurt development, okay? Because there's a lot of resources and time that has to be dedicated to making a custom character system, okay? When all that energy could be put towards making the actual core game and gameplay way better, right? So Sparking Zero, we're already seeing from the trailer and just the overall gameplay and everything, and just seeing how it's been in production/development for like 5 years or whatever from what they said in an interview. We know that the game definitely wants to do what it's known for, right? So let's go over this interview, okay? We're going to go back to this interview, and I wanted to, and I've talked about this before, but I wanted to, you know, recap and retouch upon this so that you guys kind of know, and it gets, you know, ingrained into your head that, you know, a CAC system isn't what they're going for, okay? Custom character and stuff. They're not trying to make this game like Xenoverse. They're absolutely, they state right here that they're trying to go away from, you know, all these other Dragon Ball games, okay? So in the interview, the producer, Furutani, okay, he states, Sparking Zero is different than Dragon Ball FighterZ, Xenoverse, and Kakarot, okay? The 3 big main console games that have released within, you know, the past almost 7 years now, right? And obviously Dragon Ball The Breakers, I'm gonna throw that one in there as well, but, you know, because that game is just a little bit different, you know, it's specifically online and everything, he doesn't, I guess he just doesn't really consider it like a big main console game. Obviously it's only, you know, like 20-30 bucks, right? There's a reason why it's so cheap. It has a different audience and everything too, okay? So he states right here that FighterZ was created with esports intentions, okay? Competition, right? 2D, traditional 2D fighter that you would see for Marvel vs. Capcom, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, you know, these competitive esports, you know, games, okay? It's games that you're seeing at EVO, right? So that the players can completely immerse themselves in the fighting aspect, right? Now, Kakarot was about experiencing the story, okay? If you want to play a game that does the story best, it's going to be Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, okay? I'm not trying to say that it's perfect, right? Obviously, there are issues. I talked about this in previous videos, and, you know, we all know they missed some stuff, okay? They for whatever reason, they left out things. I don't know if it was for time, budget, I don't know what the situation with that was, or maybe they just didn't think it was very important, like Vegeta's Final Flash or Trunks going Ultra Super Saiyan and stuff, you know? It's stuff like that that really did kind of upset the community. But I'm just saying, you know, I digress. You know, that's a different topic for a different day. But I'm just saying that if you want to play the main story, Kakarot really does a good job. The cutscenes are beautiful. It has all this other DLC story, and it even does things and shows things that we never got to see in the series, okay? So if you want a story-oriented game for Dragon Ball, Kakarot is your game. And then there's Xenoverse, okay? Xenoverse is, again, it's the game that a lot of people are comparing to Sparking Zero because they're both arena fighters, okay? Xenoverse, like I said, was that replacement, okay, or at least what held us off until we got a game like this, right? I'm not saying that it was a good replacement or that, you know, it's better. I'm not saying that at all. Obviously, everybody has their own opinion. But, you know, he's stating right here that Xenoverse had players go in as an avatar into the world, okay? Kind of that, like, MMO experience or whatever. You have that hub world. You can see other players in the hub world and stuff. A lot of multiplayer online aspects. Like, Xenoverse did a lot, okay, for Dragon Ball games, okay? It hurts to hear when people say that the game is shit, it's garbage, it's gonna get replaced or whatever, and it was always garbage or something like that. It's like, bro, without Xenoverse, you know, doing what it's done, like, we wouldn't have, you know, all these cool concepts and ideas for these games, right? Especially the avatar feature, okay? The custom character feature, without a doubt, is the best for a Dragon Ball game, okay? It is the best in Xenoverse. Despite the things that it lacks or whatever issues you have with it, how it works or whatever. And keep in mind, there are not many games that did a custom character feature for Dragon Ball games, okay? We had Ultimate Tenkaichi. I believe that was the very first one. It was pretty good for its time. You know, the idea of making your own Saiyan, which that's all you could do is you make your own Saiyan, okay? Basically, you had like 3 different presets. You had a short, like, kid version. You had a medium build version. And then you had like a big buff kind of tall guy version or whatever. Like, that's all you really had at the base, okay, the foundation of it, okay? You could customize your hair. You could do stuff with the color of the hair, which was, you know, it had some cool things in there. Like, you know, obviously the Saiyan had a tail, and you definitely had more of an immersed character. Like, you know, your character would talk, right? Actually have like voice lines and stuff. Obviously that definitely was a lot of work that they put in for just that aspect, okay? But at the same time, you don't have as much, it's not as expansive, okay, as Xenoverse is. Even though Xenoverse, you know, it doesn't have your character talking, which, I mean, that can always be a thing in the future if they ever do Xenoverse 3 and stuff. But I would have to say, if I had to choose between Ultimate Tenkaichi and Xenoverse 2, Xenoverse 2, frame 1 I'm choosing, okay? Xenoverse 2 has done the CAC feature the best, giving us all these new forms and stuff. Like, your character can go Ultra Instinct right now, okay? Your fucking character can go Ultra Instinct that you made yourself in Xenoverse 2. That's awesome. That's fantastic, right? So Furutani said the focus here for Sparking Zero is to push the limits of how much a player can completely immerse themselves into the world of Dragon Ball and how intensely we can make that happen, okay? So when it came to Xenoverse 2, you had all these different races, okay? That was another improvement over Ultimate Tenkaichi. Another game that did this pretty well, and not amazing, okay? You still kind of lacked a lot of features and customization, but this is because this is a game that was on 3DS. Dragon Ball Fusions. Dragon Ball Fusions is a great example of a handheld game doing the Xenoverse thing, right? Like, it's crazy. Both these games came out in 2016, and they were really pushing for the custom character aspect and everything, right? So you could choose from 5 different races. Okay, so that's another just huge line of expansion for each race that you could do. You know, you could give them different clothing, you know, different QQ Bang builds, you know, things like that. You guys know how the Xenoverse game works, right? You've played it. If you're here on the channel, most of y'all have played Xenoverse, and y'all know it's a good system that they got going, okay? Obviously, we always want more, okay? The human mind, how humans operate, they always want more, okay? Then you're never satisfied, right? So we still want Super Saiyan 4 and all that stuff, right? Yeah, everybody knows that. So I made this thing, okay? This is just something I just threw together in Photoshop to give you guys a good overview of what each Dragon Ball game represents right now in this time, okay? These are all the Dragon Ball games that are still getting support, okay? I'm not saying necessarily just complete full DLC. Obviously, Fighters it hasn't been confirmed to get DLC or whatever, but there's still a massive community for it. They're still working on it for the rollback netcode and everything. I'm just saying these are the big main, console Dragon Ball games. I'm not counting, the mobile games because they're just different, okay? The way that those games operate, they're just different. Like, I don't even know what you consider Legends. It's a gacha, but it's a fighter, kind of. Is it? I don't know. It's a very weird thing, but obviously because it's a mobile game, there's not much you can really do with it, okay? And then Dokkan is, Dokkan is Dokkan, right? Not saying that those games are bad. They're obviously very successful and amazing, but I'm talking about console, okay? Where you can have the most, the best experience, right? For these types of games, okay? So Xenoverse, again, it focuses on the avatar aspect, okay? Customization, this is the game. If you want a Dragon Ball game that has a lot of options, okay, that's the game that you want to do. It has a little bit of everything, right? You have a Hero Coliseum, which is a Dragon Ball Heroes mode, basically. So you have a card game type of mode in a sense, even though they're figurines, but it's, an RPG type of thingy, if that makes sense, okay? It's like a turn-based type of deal. Okay, so you have that mode. You have photo mode that you can use if you want to take pictures of your characters and other characters, make your own kind of stories and stuff. Like, for example, I always bring this up, my buddy Latos, okay? He has his own massive story that he's making, and he's still making, okay? So definitely check him out. Everybody's doing that. Okay, I don't want to say everyone, but like there's a lot of people that I know in the Xenoverse community that have done that kind of thing. They touch upon making their own stories and stuff, okay? And this is just with the photo mode, okay? You also have a pretty good story of Dragon Ball, okay? It mainly does the Z story, okay? And there's things that are left out or whatever, but it has a good story, and it has a very unique story as well. Okay, we have cool things where we have this character, Few, who goes in there and he changes up shit, okay? He does things like Jiren versus Broly or Kefla versus Broly, like weird, crazy things like that, okay? And then you have it as just a basic arena fighter, okay? There are a lot of characters in the game. Again, it's very similar to what the Tenkaichi series is known for, but I would say that that's where, there's a lot of issues, okay? It lacks a lot of things. There are things that, we want for it that the Tenkaichi series had that Xenoverse still doesn't have yet, right? And that's why Sparking Zero is coming, okay? That's what it's for. They're not trying to make it another Xenoverse or a replacement for Xenoverse. It's like all these other games, right? Dragon Ball FighterZ focuses on the competitive esports aspect of a Dragon Ball game, okay? We want a Street Fighter / MVC, Dragon Ball style game or Guilty Gear. Obviously, it's an Arc System Works game, okay? We want that competitive 2D fighter. This is it. Kakarot. I almost said Xenoverse Series. Kakarot, okay? It does have a little bit of an arena fighter aspect. The gameplay is kind of like that. It's definitely different, and it's, it has a bit of an RPG type of aspect or like a Final Fantasy aspect where you find, there's an enemy that you face and it goes, you go into a battle, like its own little like battle system or whatever. I don't know what that's called. There's definitely like some technical or official name for that style of game, but it's like a action RPG, right? That's what it would be called, right? Because that's what they're considering the genre of this game, okay? It's an action RPG that focuses on the story and everything, okay? And then we have Breakers, survival, asymmetrical, almost a horror type of game in a sense, right? You have those games like Friday the 13th, Dead by Daylight and shit, That's what this is for, okay? They're definitely trying to make Dragon Ball games that target specific little audiences, okay? There's a Dragon Ball game for literally everything. The next thing that we need is a Dragon Ball shooting game, okay? A first-person shooting game. We need a Dragon Ball racing game, And those could actually work. I don't think that people would be super, down for it because y'all see how people react to the Breakers, okay? There's a community that likes Breakers and all that, but I'm just saying that, they can make these games and try things out and, make these different style of, all these different genres, but they just have Dragon Ball characters in it, and, people will buy it and try it out because Dragon Ball is just such a expansive, flexible, IP and series, right? So that's what I'm trying to get at in this video. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I'm I'm not trying to be pessimistic about it. If they do add a CAC feature, great. I'm just saying don't hold on to hope for that because it's just very unlikely. I would even say it's just, you know, I never like to confirm anything until obviously we get a reveal, but we're already in the promotional aspect of this game. I think it's obvious at this point that custom characters, it's just not happening, right? But I still see a lot of people asking for it or hoping for it, right? They're like, oh man, I hope that there's custom characters in this game and stuff like that. And guess what? There will be, I'm pretty sure there will be custom roster characters, absolutely. But I'm talking about avatars like Jump Force, Xenoverse 2, One Punch Man, which was also developed by Spike Chunsoft. Don't get too into that aspect, right? But yeah, I wanted to just finally make this video to really talk about it because we actually have it straight from the mouth of the producer himself saying that they're trying to make a Dragon Ball game for every different type of audience, okay? These games are not getting replaced by one or another, right? That's not what's happening here. I'm going to keep seeing people, and people will continue to do this. They'll keep shitting on Xenoverse 2, saying that once Tenkaichi 4 drops, it's going to be dead, okay? I'm not stupid. I know that, you know, a lot of people that play Xenoverse are definitely going to Sparking Zero as soon as it drops. That's normal, okay? That's a normal fucking thing for when a new Dragon Ball game comes out. Every other Dragon Ball game that is currently out is going to have a reduction in play. Like, there's going to be less players for those games, okay? But obviously, whenever new content comes out for these other games, like Kakarot and Xenoverse, people are going to go back to those games, right? Because, you know, Sparking Zero is not always going to have content that's coming out at the same time, all right? Again, there's a Dragon Ball game for everyone, and there will still be people playing Xenoverse 2, even when Sparking Zero, the day that Sparking Zero drops, you're still going to have people playing Xenoverse 2, because some people don't even want to buy a new next-gen console to play this new game, okay? I'm not saying everyone, I'm just saying some people, like, there's still people who are playing Xenoverse 1 mainly because they don't want to buy a next-gen console, okay? There are people who play Xenoverse 1 on PS3. I can go on right now and see people playing that game. And I've seen people say that, why? Well, like, I'm asking, like, why are y'all still playing this? Just buy Xenoverse 2. It's cheap or whatever. And they're just like, I just like playing Xenoverse 1. They're like, all my you know, time has been invested into this game, and they like it. And I'm not going to hate on them. Great, you know? There's a little community for Xenoverse 1. That's cool, right? So that's going to be it for this video. Like I said, don't get too hung up or expect a custom character feature. I think that's definitely the last thing that I was hoping for in a million years. I honestly, I didn't even care about it until, you know, people started bringing it up, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just make a video about it, talking about why it's probably not going to happen. So again, I do apologize. I don't want to be pessimistic about this. I'm not trying to, you know, kill your hopes or anything, but I'm trying to, you know, get your expectations in line with something realistic. You know what I'm saying? So be sure to like, subscribe, ring my notification bell, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
This is Broly, and you are watching SLOplays. Make sure to subscribe, or else I'll destroy your entire planet.